Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. This is the Bible Bistro. Come on in. Daily Dose Radio is ready to go today. We're looking at Psalm 10, verses 7 and 8. We've been looking at all week, actually, this 10th Psalm, the first part. We're just going through verse 9 this week. And we get the majority of the definition of the wicked man in these first 9 verses. We began in verse 3, and we're all the way down to item number 8 now, and beginning with verse 7. So verse 7 tells us something about what's in the mouth of the wicked man. We heard him speak last time. In verse 6, he says in his heart, I will not be moved forever. There will be no evil. So we've heard that. We understand the pride. His pride is evident. He puffs at his enemies. He doesn't understand the judgments of God. He doesn't seek God or include God in his plans. He blesses the one that the Lord condemns, and so forth. So it's been obvious that he's on a track downward. As we used to say back home, he's headed for a train wreck. This man is in trouble. Notice today what he says. Well, let's read verses 7 and 8. His mouth is filled with curses and treacheries and oppression. Under his tongue is mischief and wickedness. He hangs out in the lurking places of the villages. In the hiding places, he kills the innocent. His eyes lurk against the hapless. First of all, we have his words. Now, as I said, verse 6, we heard him speak. Now there's a description of how he talks. And so this is the 8th item in our characteristics. His mouth is filled with, and then we have, again, that's good Hebrew parallelism. We have the first phrase, his mouth is filled with curses, treacheries, and oppression. And then the second phrase, or the second half of the couplet, we have under his tongue is mischief and wickedness. So mouth-filled and under the tongue are parallelisms. So let's just take the 5 descriptive words and look at those. His mouth is filled with curses, treacheries, oppression, mischief, and wickedness. So the 5 descriptive words tell us about his language. You'll notice that the first 3 are words that can be spoken against other people. Curses, treacheries, and oppression. They're words that speak of the plan of evil, the execution of evil, and the direction of the words is wicked in its very intent. Curses, treacheries, and oppression against the soul of another person. But then the last 2 are really words that attack the soul of the speaker. These are words of mischief and wickedness. And so he is not only attacking other people with his words, but he's actually attacking himself. When he speaks words of mischief and wickedness, they degrade the soul of the speaker, and so erode the very inside of the person. The heart of the person is degraded, it's thinned, it's debased as we speak words of mischief and wickedness, because we know that God is against that kind of language, as well as against the language of cursing, treachery, and wickedness, or oppression. And then the second, or the next characteristic, which is number 9 in our category, in our list, he hangs out in the lurking places of the villages. In the hiding places, he kills the innocent. So we see now that his hands are covered with blood. So the wicked man, beginning in verse 3, we have this description of him coming all the way down here to verse 8, and these are the 9 things so far that we've seen about him. Not only does his language betray him, but his actions. He kills the innocent. And then we'll notice tomorrow in verse 10, he's still in the hiding places, but he's lurking to catch the poor. Those 2 people, the poor and the wicked, are always contrasted with one another. So we'll look at that tomorrow and see the 10th item in the characteristic of the wicked man on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.